field and scored, went up 7-0. The Pointers eventually are stopped on third down, forced to punt. However, the St. Norbert special teamer, the returner, muffed it at the 5, which is where the Pointers took it. And they took advantage on 3rd and goal. Bryson Cashin, the senior running back, ran it into the end zone, and we are now tied at 7 apiece. Again, if you're watching this online, it is brought to you by Pointer Studios and the WIAC Network with audio on WWSP 90 FM. So a tie game here at the UWSP Pink Game for Charity at Gerke Field. Kick is away. Nice kick. Bounced at the goal line and into the end zone. A touchback is called, and here comes this fierce Pointer defense. Only points let up so far was because they had to start on the UWSP 40-yard line.
Yeah, much better kick here. And now the Pointers, they got to get going here defensively. They had a good couple stops, but obviously you already let up one touchdown. And it was on short field, so I can understand that. But I would like to see Joe Burns keep on doing what he's doing, and that's getting to the ball very quickly.
Some credit I would like to give so far to Maniguzo, the quarterback, has played very efficient football. Hasn't made many mistakes and already drove after his defense made some plays, drove down the field and scored the first points of this game. But essentially this is a 0-0 game and is an inside run up the middle. Got through the first level. Decent gain of about 7 yards on the carry.
Yeah, Jacob McVeigh lowering the shoulder. Pretty decent gain there of 6 or 7 around there. So we'll see if they can pick up the first down on 2nd and 4. It looks like they're going to go with a pass here. They got a little bit more of a spread offense. 3 wide receivers here for St. Norbert. Once again, they got that very lengthy wide receiver out to the right. Hunter Thiel, 6'5", junior.
Letting the clock run down here in the first. It is another inside run. Doesn't get much there. And the clock expires here to end quarter number 1.
And getting there to the ball quickly was Peyton Schwann. I had a class with him last year. He talked about not mentioning him last week. Here you go, Peyton. I'm talking about you.
There you go.
Here's your shout out. But good job there, Peyton, getting to the ball. And now it's going to be a 3rd and 3 for St. Norbert. And we'll see if they can pick up the first down.
Really quick, I'm going to talk about the University of Wisconsin Stevens Point message about what is the Pink Game for any viewers or listeners at home. Every year at Gerke Field in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, Team Sherrill Companies joins forces with the University of Wisconsin Stevens Point Pointers football team for a charity game to raise money for organizations that support families affected by cancer. Participants can bid on one-of-a-kind game-worn UWSP jerseys in a silent auction purchase. Pink Game for Charity apparel and cheer on the Pointers. They've raised over $632,000 since they started all the way back in 2010, with all proceeds supporting local cancer-related charities and UWSP student-run cancer fundraising efforts. Got some Red Solo Cup playing in the stadium, and I guarantee you the fans today are having a party. It is a little bit warm outside, nicer here in the box. Got some AC flowing. Good game of football so far. Turnover on downs and a muffed punt. So both technically turnovers in the more stranger ways in the statistics of football. But the second quarter will start here for St. Norbert. It is 3rd down and 2 to go from their own 33-yard line.
And I'm watching Michael Maniguzo to go to wide receiver Connor Kelly. He's kind of got a little bit of separation. He's kind of looking over Kelly's way, so we'll see if he goes there.
Maniguzo in the shotgun. Play action. Quick throw. The near side. It's incomplete. He had a man wide open. It was Bailey Turen, the senior out of Merrill, Wisconsin. 3 and out once again forced by this Pointer defense.
And there was a nickel blitz there from the corner, Gregory Westemere. He brought the pressure on Menengozo. He tried to look to the tight end, the wide receiver, Bailey Tureen, and he just underthrew him. And I don't blame him. It was a tough play to make. And a nice job there by the Pointers, forcing another 3 and out. And it's more momentum for this Pointers offense, but Charlie Smith has to hit his targets.
So obviously, St. Norbert a little wary for special teams, even though it was the returner that had the issues. But hold on. A delay of game.
And that's big because that pushes them back another 5 yards. And I'm assuming with the way that the punts have been going for St. Norbert, they'll pick up the ball around the 25-yard line, maybe get it back to the 35, compared to all the way pushing them back to the 20-yard line.
Absolutely. Not what you want if you're St. Norbert. No pressure there on the punt. It'll land inside the, a muff punt, but he returns it. He scooped up his own muff ball and takes it into Green Knights territory. Ooh, a couple of muffs there today, but he returned his own muff, scooped it right back up. So I would say a fortunate bounce in Stevens' Point favor.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of Mari Rogers clips currently right now. No, but Isaiah Deschargens, he muffed it there, picked it right back up, like you said, Jacob. Takes it all the way back to the 46-yard line of St. Norbert. So a great starting field position here for this Pointers offense. This is exactly what they need.
So the Pointers start in St. Norbert territory, enemy territory to start. Smith on the play fake, stepping up, throwing deep, got a man wide open. It is caught! Touchdown, Pointers!
Ask and you shall receive. Charlie Smith, just like I said earlier in the game, he needs to stay calm and relax. And what does he do? He steps up in the pocket, has a wide open wide receiver in the end zone. That was Ben Wallersheim making the grab and taking it all the way for 6. And now the Pointers had the lead early here in the second quarter. What a play there on the first play of the drive, Jacob.
First play, one-play drive. Wallersheim, the backup wideout. Pointers have their first lead of the game. The extra point is nailed. 14-7 lead for UWSP, and that is the exact kind of headspace Charlie Smith needs to be in. First play, fake the run, heave it deep, had a man wide open.
And that was just beautiful, Jacob. Charlie Smith, he had the outside linebackers coming for him. The left tackles did a great job pushing him out to the edges where Charlie Smith was able to take that step in and find the wide open wide receiver.
Great analysis there, Brett. I'm going to bring some attention for any of the new listeners or viewers. UWSP and St. Norbert University have matched up 5 times in history. The Green Knights have only won 1 game. The Pointers have won 4. Green Knights are 2-1 at home from their home field in De Pere, Wisconsin, right near Green Bay. And the Pointers are undefeated at home against St. Norbert, 2-0. I already mentioned last year's matchup earlier. I'll mention it one more time. The Pointers won. It was their only win of the 2024 campaign was against St. Norbert. In St. Norbert, they won 24-3. However, they scored all 21 leading points in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, they're playing good so far. You know, it was a couple rough first 2 possessions, but Charlie Smith hitting the 46-yard touchdown pass to Wallersheim, getting his first touchdown grab of the season.
Kick is away. Oh, that is a muff. Landed right into the returner at the 25. Couldn't field it, so we had to fall on it. And there is an injured Pointer down to the turf for the 32. No, it does not look good.
Yeah, I'm going to say that was Johnny Reddick. It just muffed off of his, I want to say his leg maybe. He jumped on it right away, so great job there. So we're going to kick it to more WIAC scores. UW La Crosse up 38-14 against Carnegie Mellon. There's under 2 minutes now in that 4th quarter. Then over to Eau Claire. They are up 35-6. Trying to see who they're, excuse me.
And it looks like the injured pointer gets up on his own volition, heads back to the sideline. It looks like he'll be okay. As both the Green Knights offense and the Pointer defense head back onto the field. So we'll resume play. First play of the drive for the Green Knights from their own 26. Maneguzzo, toss, near side, trying to find some room. Gets a little bit there, but not too much.
Yeah, Will Darden trying to get around the outside towards the left hashes. And that's about the third or fourth time he's tried to do that. Hurdles a little bit there too, but a minimal gain of 3. So we'll see if Menengozo goes with the pass here. And it is one-on-one coverage with the tall wide receiver Hunter Thiel on the outside.
So on 2nd and 7, Meneguzzo with the hard count now takes a sack. On the near side toss, breaking tackles and knocked out of bounds near midfield. Nice play by the running back, Will Darden. He's got some speed.
Yeah, that was a swing pass to the right to Will Darden, all the way around the outside. And he breaks it all the way up to the 46-yard line. Still in St. Norbert territory, but they are pursuing and heading into that Pointer territory.
Absolutely, a big first down for St. Norbert. Here in the 1st and 10 near midfield. It is an inside run. Darden got popped. Straight interior defense.
Yeah, nice job there by the defensive back, Denver Trelevin. We've talked about him a few times, and he's been reading the ball perfectly so far in this game. He's seeing exactly where it's going, what hole they're hitting, and right there they had the bunch towards the left side. Darden a little bit more towards the right on the run there, but great job there by Trelevin to read that one and make a big play and a gain of 3 for St. Norbert.
Trelevin fighting for a starting role in the Pointer secondary. Meneguzzo looking to the far side, throws just out of the hands. Incomplete. Force there by number 1, Xander Pop. He had the 3rd interception last week. He is their star safety as of so far.
Yeah, we've talked about Xander Pop a lot last week. This time, only the first time we spoke about him, but he's a great defensive back. And right there, he makes the play, stopping number 13, Connor Kelly, from making the grab over on that left side. And we're about almost under 13 minutes here left in the second quarter.
So on 3rd down, Meneguzzo looking downfield, steps up, fires over the middle, and is caught in a window. That'll be a first down for St. Norbert. Finally thrown down by a swarm of Pointers. That is a big chunk play, and the Sticks advance for the Green Knights.
Yeah, Michael Menenguzo doing what Charlie Smith did on that last drive, and that was step up in the pocket. And you kind of see it more here in D3. You step up in the pocket, you get a little bit more time. Right there, calm and collective, making the play, and finally finds Hunter Thiel for the first time today, all the way up to the 33-yard line of Stevens Point.
Quick snap, a high one, but it is a run. Here's Darden fighting and brought down to the 25. Nice gain, and now we're seeing a well-structured drive by St. Norbert.
Yeah, Darden likes to hop around. That's the 3rd time he's jumped up in the air today, but it's been working. And a nice big gain of 8 there for Will Darden. And he's been the number 1 back here today. He gets a lot more carries with him being a 90% of the guy as...
Oh, wrapped down by this Pointers defense. What a play.
Yeah, it was a miscue there on the snap. Michael Menengozo, the snap was high. Tried to hand it off to Darden, just decided, I'm going to take it myself. Not the right decision there. The Pointers were there perfectly, and now it's a 3rd and 5 for St. Norbert, with the Pointers trying to force a stop here on 3rd down.
A missed block forces the sack, the first of the game for UWSP. So here we go, 3rd and 7. Meneguzzo in the shotgun with the back lined up to his left. Takes the snap, looking to the far side. Has time as he fires, it is caught. It's gonna be close. He'll be marked a yard shy. So we'll see if the Green Knights attempt to go for it on 4th down.
Yeah, that was Bailey Tureen with the short cross route, came across the middle towards that St. Norbert bench.
So the offense now lately decides to come off, and they're going to attempt a field goal. This will be a long attempt.
We saw him making quite a bit of field goals during warm-up, so it's not out of his range whatsoever. And a timeout will be called by St. Norbert with the late substitution.
They were not ready. You could tell. You could tell they were still deciding there. Tyler Jurgensen is going to attempt a long kick. He is a junior out of McHenry, Illinois. You see a lot of a lot of Wisconsin kids in these first two games, but of course we got players from all around the Midwest. We actually had a kicker last year out of Texas, and I believe a kicker out of Norway in one of the games we hosted up here in the booth.
I was just talking with Reagan pregame and saying that Gustavus Adolphus had a player from Japan last year.
That
as
is
well.
true. I would like to give credit to Reagan Van Wagner and Liam Sheen, both behind the scenes work. Of course, we had some technical difficulties in the beginning, but no need to point those out because we're back high flying. So here we go. The kick will be attempted by Schaefer to try to make it a 4-point game. Kick is up, and it is good. Long attempt made by Schaefer. So it is 14-10 now.
Like I mentioned, that was not out of his range whatsoever. We saw him warm ups. He did miss from, I'm going to say, around 45 yards, but right there, much shorter field goal attempt. And now only down by 4 is St. Norbert. And a pretty good drive there from the Green Knights.
Absolutely. I've been familiar with some missed kicks. I was actually at the Thursday night football game between the Green Bay Packers and the Washington Commanders, Thursday night football. 3 total missed kicks, 2 by Matt Gay and 1 by Brandon McManus. So making it from that range is pretty impressive, especially for D3 athletes. But overall, in terms of a game review, I'd say we got a good one on our hands here, Brett.
And as a Packers fan, the last few years, we've been used to missed kicks. Braden Narvison, and of course, should we even speak of his name?
No, let's not speak his name. Let's not talk about the Packers. Obviously, St. Norbert, familiar with that team, only a town over on the eastern side of the state in De Pere, Wisconsin.
And they're kind of replicating the colors as well, green and yellow. So.
Absolutely. I'm sure there's some homage. The Catholic University in Wisconsin, but here we go as they line it up to kick off.
For the Green Knights, it's going to be Braden Schaefer once again.
Scoreboard operator hasn't updated it yet, but folks, it is, at least in the stadium, we got it here on the stream, 14-10, as the kick is away. And it'll be fielded from inside the 5, has 3 blockers out in front, has some room. Here comes Cashin, cuts inside, breaking tackles, Bryson Cashin, 30, 20, 10, touchdown Pointers!
And with the Pointers being nicknamed the Dogs, Bryson Cashin is the leader of this pack, taking it all the way to the end zone. And just when you thought St. Norbert could inch closer, the Pointers say not today, and it's now 20-10. Stevens, boy, Jacob, what a play by Bryson Cashin.
Relief made. Bryson Cashin had a kick return touchdown called back by an offsetting penalty last week. He finds justice in his senior season, taking it to the house from inside the 5. Almost a 100-yard return. Extra point attempted coming. Kick is up, and it is good. 21-10 is the score with about a little over 10 minutes to go here in the first half.
And Cashin, like you said, breaking tackles. I think he broke about 4 tackles there on that kick return. What a job getting around the outside, up the left hashes towards the Pointers bench. And all of his teammates were super pumped to see him finally get in the end zone on the kick return. Like you mentioned, Jacob, he was robbed of it last week with the penalty. This time, he gets in there as he had the touchdown earlier with the rushing attempt. This time, it's the kick return touchdown. As we are going to head to check on some more WIAC scores. UW River Falls currently up in the second quarter, 28-7 against Coy. Heading over to UW Oshkosh. and North Central. North Central currently up 21-7 against Oshkosh. Then Eau Claire and Kenyon have came to a final 35-6. Eau Claire takes that one. They improve to 2-0. And finishing off, UW La Crosse takes it against Carnegie Mellon 38-14 as that one has come to a conclusion. La Crosse improves to 2-0. Carnegie Mellon goes to 1-2 as the Pointers are ready to boot this one away after the kick return touchdown by Bryson Cashin.
That was electric, Brett. Thank you for the WIAC updates as the kick is away, fielded from the 5. Here comes the return, up the middle, breaks one tackle, and finally spun down to the 25. That is where Manguzo, and the rest of his Green Knights offense will start. Wow, that was electric.
Oh, it sure was, Jacob. And it was awesome to see Bryson Cashin get all the way from the 1-yard line all the way to the end zone. And now the Pointers have a pretty good lead going into these. I want to say that's probably the 5th possession now by St. Norbert. And they just put together a pretty decent drive. They got the field goal. They kept it pretty close, a 1-possession game.
Pointers showing blitz here, and they bring it on the outside run, met up in the backfield, and there is a tackle for loss. Nice start by the Pointers defense.
That was Grady Stebnitz getting to the ball carrier right away.
Nice play made in the backfield. All different types of Pointers making plays today. Obviously no turnovers forced yet if you're not including the muff punt. None by the defense. Under 10 minutes to go on second down. They're showing blitz again, Brett. And they bring it. Rolling out to his right. Manguzo fires. It is caught. Tight end came back to catch it. Breaks one tackle and is reeled down inside the 35. So not to the first down, but a lot more progress made. It will be third down, St. Norbert.
And Manguzo kind of had a little bit of a wonky pass there, but he still got to the intended wide receiver, Hunter Thiel, making a second grab of the day. The first one came on a big gain of about 15 yards across the middle. This time it was a comeback route on the right side. And now the Pointers have a very big third down chance to get a big stop here. Thiel going on the left side. It will be one-on-one coverage, but a little bit of a tighter formation here for St. Norbert.
They stack the line. It is an inside run, and he is stopped. Pointers defense come up big time. That is Westemeyer with the tackle in the backfield.
Yeah, Gregory Westemeyer making the play once again. He had initial pressure on the previous drive. This time making the play in a big third down stop for the Pointers, and now they force another punt up 21-10.
I believe that is the 4th 3-and-out forced by the Stevens Point defense. As St. Norbert prepares to punt it once more. Bit of a low snap, but the punt is away. Another high flyer. Not marked a fair last second marked fair catch inside the 25, and that is where Charlie Smith and this Stevens Point offense will start.
Yeah, in that first half of Albion, it was 21-0 Pointers. This time, they're up 21-10 with a chance of making this lead even bigger. Jacob, if you're the Pointers here, going into halftime, what do you need to talk about to avoid what happened last week?
I think it is still ball control. They struggled a little with it. Of course, last game in the second half, the back-to-back drives with back-to-back fumbles. The muff punt is something they need to watch for. But other than that, keep doing what they're doing offensively. Heave it down the field. They haven't done much in the screen game yet today. Here's a pitch. Finding room to run. And spun down past the 30. Nice start offensively to this Pointers drive.
Yeah, nice job there by Zach Lynch. Bouncing to the outside, getting a pickup of 7. And it was a little bit of a delayed pitch there by Charlie Smith. But he got it there just before St. Norbert's defense could get to Zach Lynch. So great job there by the Pointers.
I haven't seen much of Reed Smith. They're using a lot more of Zach Lynch also in the return game. So he is a piece to look for in this Pointers offense. On this play, second down and short to go. Smith under center, fakes the toss, rolling out, throws to a wide open man. He's going to get to the 40. It's Lynch out of bounds.
And what a play there by this Pointers offense. Charlie Smith faked the toss, got all of St. Norbert to go to the right, and then he rolls out to the left and finds Zach Lynch wide open and picks up the first down on a pretty big gain there by the running back.
I just mentioned it on the last play, Brett. Zach Lynch being used a lot today here on the hurry-up offense. Quick snap, quick throw near side, caught, cutting inside, pass midfield, lowers the shoulder. Nice play, another first down back-to-back for UWSP.
And you're seeing a little bit of a tempo offense here from the Pointers, but great job there by Charlie Smith reading the blitz. He was there right away, the inside linebacker, but Smith found the wide open wide receiver Austin Phillips on the comeback route, gets a big gain and another first down for the Pointers.
Quick snap, pitch. It's Zach Lynch again. Trying to get around his blocker, lowers the shoulder, and gets a gain of 4 yards.
They kind of did that drop pitch once again. Zach Lynch, this time only a gain of 5 and a few whistles here by the refs, so we'll see.
Number 23 in the offense lost his helmet. He leaves the game for one play.
So Zach Lynch lost his helmet temporarily, so he will be heading to the sideline for only one play, as the official mentioned. Under 7 minutes to go here in the first half. Smith in the shotgun. Play action, quick toss near side. Here's a wide receiver screen. Makes a nice move and cannot break the tackle. Nice hands there by Zeke Long for St. Norbert.
Yeah, Charlie Smith, it was an intended screen pass. They got to the wide receiver, the guy that made the touchdown grab, Ben Wallersheim. Nice job there, slipping a few guys and picking up the first down for the Pointers. The Pointers are moving the ball pretty good here with this tempo offense, and I really am enjoying this. Under 6 minutes now, 21-10. They look to put more points on the board here on this drive.
Here we go. Quick tempo again on first down. Motion man. Play action. Smith this time. He'll throw it to the outside. He found Wiechek, who got nailed down on the 31. What a hit. Delivered, and that was Cody Burton, the defensive back for St. Norbert out of Gurnee, Illinois.
And if Charlie Smith waited, I want to say a couple more seconds, he would have had a wide open Reed Smith on a wheel route. He kind of went out as the running back, turned it upfield, and he would have had him. There was no deep safety there, but he decides to go to Wiechek here, picks up a gain of 2. So we'll see if they try to go back to that play and hit Reed Smith.
On second down, Smith has 2 backs in the backfield. It is an inside run, well read by St. Norbert. Doesn't look like he even got a single yard there on the carry, so it'll be third down.
It's actually going to be a loss of yards there for Reed Smith. And like you mentioned before, it's been mostly Zach Lynch compared to Reed Smith, where Reed Smith coming in to the season was the RB2. You're kind of noticing he's getting not included as much in this offense.
And Lynch isn't just used in the running game, he's used in the pass and return game, being used a lot. Here we got all wide receivers.
And you're starting to notice when the Pointers go empty, the blitz comes from St. Norbert.
Here it comes. Smith with pressure, got the throw off. It is a diving catch. And not enough there.
And I'm starting to think it's part of the game plan here for St. Norbert. Whenever they see an empty backfield, that's when they're bringing the blitz, and there is a flag on the play.
As the officials come to discuss it around the 32, which is where the flag was thrown, so around the line of scrimmage on the previous play. And he's discussing with the St. Norbert official, so it looks like, the St. Norbert head coach, so here's the call.
Pass interference. Offense, number 86. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Makes it third down.
So it is offensive pass interference on the Pointers. That backs them up a lot. So automatically, what that could have been a situation where they decide to go for it and even kick for it. And
I think that's the correct call by the St. Norbert head coach. You push him out of field goal range. Now you're set up at the 47-yard line for Stevens Point, a third and very long.
And they're going to go for it, Brett.
It's third down, Jacob.
I know, but it's a long way to go on third down. They back off on the blitz. Smith steps up, and he's going to try to run. He's got a hole up the seam and down around the 20. So caught back and past the original line of scrimmage there on fourth down, just trying to get yards. So they are going to attempt to kick here. Oh, no. Hold on 1 second. Charlie Smith communicating, and he is staying on the field. They're going to go for it on fourth.
Yeah, it was a QB draw by Charlie Smith. Picked up a big gain, I'm going to say around 17 yards there. So now 4th and 7 here for the Pointers. Can they pick it up? With 4 minutes left to go, and Smith is now, they're going to take a timeout here for the Pointers.
Tried getting him to jump.
Timeout. Stevens Point.
And that is the first timeout of either team in the first half. UWSP calls it. And now as they meet in the huddle, they'll decide whether to try again to go for it or if they decide to kick. Either way, exciting event so far. Bryson Cashin on the return touchdown. That might be a major force in this game, determining how it ends up. Obviously, it is still an 11-point lead for UWSP. As St. Norbert's defense heads onto the field, and the rest of the Pointers heading back to their sideline, excluding the offense, who is back on the field. And it looks like they will go for it. That is the call. Ball is lined up on the Green Knights' 30-yard line. Smith will be in the shotgun with Reed Smith lined up to his left. 4th and 7. Here's the snap. Smith on the rollout. Looking downfield now. Keeps it. Stepping up. He's going to try to run for it, and he will not get there. Tackle at the 30. No gain. And another turnover on downs forced by this St. Norbert defense.
Yeah, there was just nobody open there, Jacob. Charlie Smith had to look down the field, and he just made the read that, yeah, my best possible outcome here is to try and run for it. Yes, he picks up only 3 yards, and it's a turnover on downs. But at the end of the day, Smith made the right play, not tried to force a turnover there. So now St. Norbert, they got to score here if they want a chance at this game. As I believe, do the Pointers start with the ball, or will it be?
The Pointers do start with the ball in the second half. As they show blitz, they bring it. It is a quick swing to the near side. Trying to find something, got a block, and extends to the 35-yard line, so it'll make it 2nd and 5 to go.
Yeah, they're going to have to run a little bit of a tempo offense here if St. Norbert wants a chance to score. It's starting to run under 3.5 minutes now, so we'll see if anything changes.
I don't know if you caught that on the hot mic. Someone just yelled third and 19 in the crowd. I thought the Aaron Rodgers came all the way from Pittsburgh back to Wisconsin. Here on the rollout, Meneguzzo going deep. Down the near side, got a man open, and is caught at the 40. And ruled out of bounds right around there. Big reception for Connor Kelly, the senior out of Germantown, Wisconsin.
Yeah, Connor Kelly's got open quite a few times here. This time a big gain of about 30 yards there, and a nice job there by Menengozo. And we haven't talked about him enough. He's been playing pretty good so far here in this one.
I'm not going to lie, even though they're down 11, Meneguzzo has been dealing. He's been nice on the rollout, had a pretty sweet deep ball, and even though that pass is a little short, he had a man wide open, so it didn't matter. On 1st and 10, it is an inside run. Several Pointers swarming to the ball, and while the offense has been dealing for St. Norbert, I cannot lie, this Pointers defense in this first 2 games has been as advertised. Even though the game wound up heading to overtime last week, that was because of the turnovers forced. So we are at the 2-minute warning. It is 21-10. And Brett, you got something for us.
Excuse me, Jacob. Sorry, I didn't want to talk over you there. But, yeah, Menengozo, 11 of 15, 94 yards and a touchdown with a QBR rating of 148.6. So great job there.
Absolutely.
I think Menengozo has been pretty much one of the highlighted players for the St. Norbert team so far today. So we'll see if he can continue that with this drive and into that second half, because they're going to really need it if they want a chance at winning this one.
Absolutely. It's been a stunner so far here at the Pink Game for Charity. I mentioned it earlier, but all the game-worn jerseys will be auctioned off in a silent auction. Pointers have raised for $630,000 the last 15 years or so. They started it back in the 2010 season. And every year they've done the pink game for charity, usually in September. But here we go. Back from the 2-minute warning on second down. Meneguzzo, the shotgun with the back lined up to his left. Here's the snap. Meneguzzo floats it downfield, got a man wide open. He is reeled down inside the 10, and these receivers are breaking free. But I would like to say Meneguzzo, both on these back-to-back major passing plays, has thrown the ball short, and on that play, they could have had a touchdown.
Exactly what you said, Jacob. I was going to say that too. Meneguzzo, pretty much the whole day, has just underthrown it. Yes, he's completing the passes, but still, that could have easily been a touchdown. But they're still at the 5-yard line here. It's a 1st and goal here for the St. Norbert offense, and I wouldn't be surprised here if they go with the run game a little bit.
So on 1st and goal, Meneguzzo in the shotgun. Rolling, no, it is a handoff. Oh, a helmet flew off. Nasty hit delivered by the Pointer defense. And it looks like he is all right. The back, McVane, the secondary back, and of course, as the rules oblige, if you do have your helmet knocked off in a play, you have to take one play off. And then depending on if you have concussion or not, or if you're all good to go, you can come in on the very next play.
Yeah, Gregory Westemere making the play, popping off the helmet. And a good job there from the Pointers defense, stopping the St. Norbert offense from getting in the end zone right now. We'll see here on second down what they do.
So minute 17 to go. And it looks like timeout is called. So we're having some game clock issues here in the stadium. The play clock was not properly adjusted for the St. Norbert's player whose helmet came off. So St. Norbert was forced to use a timeout. Of course, the away team, I'm sure, is not too pleased with that. I can't say I've really seen that much in my broadcasting career, but it happened now. It's the first time for everything, right, Brett?
Exactly what you said, Jacob. I'm kind of surprised what happened, but it does make sense. To avoid the 10-second runoff, you call a timeout. And St. Norbert now with 1:20 left on the clock. I think right here I would have been okay with running the clock down, because if you think about it initially, it's 2nd and goal. You want the Pointers not to have a chance at scoring one more time, especially if you score, and you want to make this as close as possible before halftime.
Absolutely, and something of mention, Albion was trying to do this last week. They were trying to score with under 2 minutes to go in the first half, but the difference was they were getting the ball back in the second half. That's not this game. St. Norbert will not receive. They received in the first half, so Stevens Point receives in the second. That's why St. Norbert is trying to be so diligent in scoring on this drive, because if they don't, they could be in a 3-possession hole at the start of the next half. On 2nd and goal, Meneguzzo is in the shotgun with the back line up to his right. He's rolling out to his left, floats it for the end zone. It is caught for a wide open St. Norbert touchdown.
He had a great job there by Meneguzzo, getting all the Pointers to go left, and he knew exactly what he was doing from the get-go. Goes to this left, finds a wide open tight end, Neville Roberts, towards that right side end zone. And now St. Norbert makes it a 1-possession game once again with 1:15 left to go here in this second quarter, awaiting the extra point.
Roberts was the 3rd-string tight end. This kick is up and good. So we are back down to a 4-point game. However, Stevens Point can play this very interestingly. They have 1:15 and 2 timeouts to work with. So let's say if they can somehow very efficiently drive down the field and score here, not only would that bring them back in front by 2 possessions, but they also have the opportunity to score again to start the second half as they do receive, as previously mentioned.
And I think here, if you're the Pointers, with 1:15 left on the clock, you got to have obviously a tempo offense. But here, I think you can't force anything at all, because if you allow a turnover in this last minute, that could result in St. Norbert even taking the lead. So I think you just got to play it a little bit conservative and play smart.
Absolutely. And St. Norbert, they're no slouches. Obviously, this pass game has been a very efficient pass game, even though there's been a couple of short passes. Meneguzzo's the real deal, at least for D3. And in terms of this defensive front, I'm liking a lot of the size they've got in terms of their defensive linemen. Even though Stevens Point has scored 21 points, obviously a muffed punt and a kick return touchdown. That's 2 of the 3 touchdowns for Stevens Point. So I would say the defense has done mostly their job. Obviously, they just had unfortunate circumstances right on their plate. But here we go, a minute 15 to go. St. Norbert will kick off.
And we've had some great quarterback plays so far. Meneguzzo, 13 of 17, 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. And on the other side, Charlie Smith, 5 of 8, 79 yards and a touchdown.
Kick will be taken in from inside the 10. Has blockers up to the 20. He breaks 1 tackle. Cashin, could he do it again? No. Oh, yes, he stayed in bounds. Are you serious? Bryson Cashin out of bounds inside the 30. He is a deadly return man.
I am at a loss of words, Jacob. He is doing exactly what you should be doing as a kick returner, reading the holes perfectly, and he did it once again. He went up that left sideline, and he stayed in bounds, keeping his feet in, and what a job there by Bryson Cashin, making the plays, and a great starting field position for the Pointers. This is exactly what they needed.
It is 2:15 p.m. Central Time, folks, and I've just witnessed the resurrection of Devin Hister here at Gerke Field in UWSP. Bryson Cashin has been a lethal return man, well over 100 yards returning just in this first half. But here we go, 1st and 10 from the opposing 26-yard line. Smith is in the shotgun, takes the snap. 5-man rush, quick throw over the middle, it is caught. Bring the tackle. He is going all the way for the Pointers touchdown.
1, 2, boom. Matt Geckin right down the middle. 5-yard curl in, breaking a tackle, and it was nothing but green grass in front of him. What a great job there by the Pointers. They do it once again. A nice starting field position. 1 play is all they needed. And once again, Jacob, just when you thought St. Norbert was there, Bryson Cashin gets the great kick return, and then the 1-play touchdown throw by Charlie Smith to the tight end, Matt Geckin. It is now 28-17. Pointers on the field goal kick.
Touchdown for Matt Geckin. That is his first of the season, and the Pointers offensively had some troubles at first, but now 2 incredible returns from the senior running back, Bryson Cashin, one of which resulted straight up in a kick return touchdown. That one led the opportunity for the Geckin score.
3 returns, 180 yards, and a touchdown for Bryson Cashin. And if you do a little bit of quick math, that is 60 yards per return. What a great job here by this Pointer special teams.
And you only mentioned the return touchdown. He also had a rushing touchdown early in this half. So Bryson Cashin, if I'm in the WIAC, he's in the running for WIAC Player of the Week. Already 200 yards almost returning. 1 return touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown. Brett, we're not even all the way through the second quarter.
I know, and it's insane. And it's 28-17 now. And with 58 seconds left, now you're starting to talk about what St. Norbert needs to do. And that's exactly what the Pointers were supposed to do on that possession.
Yeah.
And that was a tempo offense. Don't force anything that's not there. So we'll see if they can put more points on the board.
St. Norbert, not at all what they like to see. 58 seconds left, and then heading into the second half, Pointers receive to start. They got to get going. Fielded from about the 10. Up the middle. Has some room. Gets a block. And tripped down to the 39-yard line.
Yeah, nice return there by the running back, Zach Petzel. Breaking a couple tackles all the way up to the 38-yard line of St. Norbert. And now with 52 seconds remaining, like I said, got to have a tempo offense. You got to do a little bit of a hurry up. You're in that 2-minute offense too. They've practiced this before. They know exactly what they need to do. That's if you get it down the middle of the field, you got to give the ball to the ref right away, and you got to snap. They do have 1 timeout remaining, so they got to use that wisely.
And it is an inside run to start. Not much as he is upended. That was a WWE type move on the running back. It was legal though.
And you know who that was that made that tackle? Joe Behrens.
Of course it was.
It was, and he's been playing that Mike spot perfectly today. He's getting the ball quickly, and the running back, Will Darden, has had nothing to do the last few possessions.
I'm not sure. They did not use their final timeout, so I'm not sure what they're trying to do right now. Clock is running under 13 seconds. Meneguzzo's in the shotgun with the back lined up to his right, and now the timeout is called. I have no idea what just happened. I'm speechless. They waited the clock to run out all the way down to 8 seconds to then call their final timeout. I mean, we already mentioned it. St. Norbert is not in the advantageous position. If they don't score here and the Pointers start off the second half and get the ball, automatically that's a 3-possession hole that they got to dig themselves out of.
Yeah, not great time management here whatsoever. I think initially you had to go for a pass there on that first play. But
Just a quick out.
Yeah, exactly. And they go with a run to Will Darden, who hasn't really gotten going whatsoever.
He's
besides
had some
that
nice
one
moves,
pass.
but I don't agree with the call. I mean, obviously.
So now with 8 seconds left, and they already used their timeout, obviously they're going to go with a deep shot here or maybe just a run to Darden, but I just don't see what the vision was here on this possession.
Only 8 seconds left, or no. The game.
And even the wide receivers look like they know they're not going to go deep here.
And it is just an inside run. The Pointers weren't ready for it. And now the tackle is made. They're not going to get to the ball in time to spike it. So that is the end of the first half. What a game so far. Pointers out in front of their home crowd here at Gerke Field at the UWSP Pink Game for Charity, up 28-17 over the St. Norbert Green Knights. Once again, thank you to everyone paying attention, watching and listening. If you are watching this, live stream is brought to you by Pointer Studios on the WIAC Network, with audio brought to you by WWSP 90 FM. We'll be back here soon with second half coverage. Thank you again for watching. We'll be back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this Week 2 matchup here at Gerke Field in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, where the St. Norbert Green Knights are taking on your UW Stevens Point Pointers. And today is the pink game for charity. What a game do we have in our hands. Stevens Point taking the home field advantage seriously, up 28-17 over St. Norbert. And what a game it's been. A big player that we've talked about a lot in the first half is senior running back for UWSP, Bryson Cashin.
Yeah, he's been magnificent so far. He has a kick return touchdown, 180 yards of kick return yards. And on top of that, he's got 22 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. So a great job here from Bryson Cashin. As I'm going to go back to the 3 keys of the game that I mentioned earlier, my first one was defense needs to play 2 halves of football. Right now, they've given up 17 points defensively, but not a bad job they've done. They've been playing great so far and avoiding St. Norbert from putting even more points on the board. My second one was offense needs to stick to the run game first, then go to the pass if needed. I'm going to be honest, they have done the completely opposite of what I said, and it's been working so well. The pass game has been awesome. Charlie Smith has 3 passing touchdowns, including the very big deep shot pass to the wide receiver, Ben Wallersheim. And my third one was keep your offense out for as long as possible because the defense can get tired quickly because the offense have a lot of 3 and outs. I think the Pointers have only had maybe 1 or 2 3 and outs, and the defense and offense have been splitting pretty evenly so far. So a great job. They're hitting on all 3, and I'm loving this team so far. They're up 28-17. They get the ball back to start the second half. Jacob, what do you think the Pointers need to do starting in the second half?
I think, Brett, the Pointers just need to keep it simple. The start of this game, these first few drives involved a lot of inside runs, a lot of wildcat formation stuff. Charlie Smith, the Pointers starting quarterback, wasn't doing a lot through the air, but once they started throwing it down the field, they started finding some things. You get Bryson Cashin involved in the return game, has absolutely lit up this ball game. What a game we've had. I, of course, got to shout out Managuzzo, the starting quarterback for St. Norbert. He's been pretty efficient so far. No turnovers forced in terms of each offense. However, we got to talk about the muffed punt that was forced by the Pointers early on in this game that gave him the go-ahead score to tie it. Because remember, St. Norbert was leading 7-0. But now Pointers up 28-17. They're receiving the ball here to start the second half, and the ball fell off the tee.
And like you mentioned, Jacob, Michael Managuzzo, 13-17, 130 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. He's been playing great so far in this one. And if St. Norbert wants a chance, he's got to play exactly how he did, maybe even better here in this second half, as the Pointers are currently up by 11.
Michael Managuzzo from the UP, Iron Mountain, Michigan. He's the senior. And the kick is away, as we're going to be soon talking about the Pointers offense. It's returned from inside the 10 and will be taken down by the 25. So I'd like to mention they didn't kick it in Cashin's direction this time.
Yes, they kicked it over to Zach Lynch. I was just going to say that. Do you think they talked about it at halftime? Hey, maybe let's not kick it over to the guy that has 180 returning yards and a touchdown. So nice job there by St. Norbert, kicking it over to Zach Lynch's way. And now the Pointers will start at their own 26-yard line.
Pointers getting ready to break the huddle.
As we look at some WIAC scores pretty quickly here. Halftime, it was 28-21, River Falls against Coy. And UW Oshkosh is currently down against North Central 21-7.
Quick formation and a quick snap. Smith going deep. Down the field, got him in open, and just off the right hand of his intended receiver. Oh my goodness, that was Phillips.
Yeah, he had Austin Phillips wide open, and there was 3 defenders trailing him too. So I don't know how he got open, beating the corner, beating the safety, maybe even a linebacker there. But Charlie Smith, we saw it earlier in the game. He missed on a few of his passes. He's been hitting pretty good so far since then, but this time he misses Phillips on the easy touchdown.
They have 2 backs in the backfield here on 2nd and 10. St. Norbert does not bring the blitz. It's a quick pitch to Bryson Cashin. Decent gain here, but still 3rd and long for the Pointers.
Yeah, we've seen that quick pitch happen a few times now.
Oh, no, there is a Pointer offensive lineman down on the turf.
third injured player of the offense.
Like I was mentioning, we've seen Zach Lynch get the ball a couple times on that quick pitch. This time it was to Bryson Cashin. So now it's going to be a 3rd and 6 here for the Pointers.
And I believe that is Oscar Zamora, the starting right guard for this Pointers offensive line. They might switch over to Ryan Deedy as the backup right guard, who is a freshman out of Ogdensburg, Wisconsin. And he was grabbing his leg, Zamora was, when he initially went down. But now he's helped up as he is helped off, limping to the Pointer sideline. Glad to see that he looks to be okay initially. His teammates offering to help him walk back, but he's trying to walk back on his own strength, get some feeling back into, I believe it was the right leg that was hurt. So the backup will have to come in. And it is Deedy. On 3rd and 6.
Freshman.
The freshman coming into play. Charlie Smith is in the shotgun, and now they're going to run this out of the Wildcat formation. Cashin takes the snap, running it to the right guard side, and he is stuffed. St. Norbert read it well, and that is a swift 3-and-out forced by the Green Knights.
Yeah, I just don't like that play call here, especially with it being a 3rd and kind of mediocre down. I just don't understand why you're calling a Wildcat formation with, obviously you're going to be going with Bryson Cashin here on the direct snap run.
I think you lose an interior offensive lineman, and you want to try to see if you can get something rushing-wise. I'm sure Charlie Smith, no discredit to the freshman, but might not trust a clean pocket on that play, especially they're deep in their own territory. Just want to get some yards out of it, and now they punt it. Good high flyer, and it will be taken out from the 27. Ooh, slam down. What a tackle. And that was Paul Morris.
It was Paul Morris. Finally, we talk about him.
He was the leading tackler last week for UWSP. Led the team in tackles with 16 as he celebrates with his teammates. And here comes Michael Meneguzzo and the rest of his Green Knights offense.
And if you're St. Norbert here, you got to get a touchdown here. I think with a 3-and-out stop on this Pointers offense that already has put up 28 points, I think if you get a touchdown here, make it a 1-possession game, could benefit them to tying this one up or even taking the lead.
And here comes a big rush, breaking free. That's Darden.
Yeah, Will Darden with a handoff right off the middle and shotgun. And he gets a big gain of about 14 yards there, and that's going to be his biggest rush of the day, as he's been kind of splitting time with Jacob McVeigh, as now he has 10 rushes for around 48 yards.
Meneguzzo in the shotgun. It is a give. Oh, met up in the backfield by 2 separate Pointers.
That was Gavin Adams and
Westemeyer.
He's been there all day. He's been one of the bright stars, I would say, for this defense. Really didn't talk about him a lot last week.
Not at all.
And this time, he's been getting to that backfield quickly.
But he is going to be subbed out on this play for Paul Morris. So I think that's interesting to note. Maybe that was because he made the tackle on special teams, but Paul Morris wasn't in on the first play on defense.
And I wouldn't be surprised here if the Pointers go with a blitz here. With 2 inside linebackers, I would love to see them put some pressure on the quarterback.
After the tackle for loss on 2nd and 11, Meneguzzo over the middle. It is caught somehow by number 13. That's Connor Kelly.
Yeah, Connor Kelly has been all over this football field, and Meneguzzo has really stuck with him as his number 1 wide receiver. So a great job there connecting and picking up the first down. And St. Norbert's moving this football pretty good here.
Absolutely, Brett. And they're looking to the sideline right now. I think they might have had to adjust the sticks at first, but here we go. They're ready to snap.
Yeah, Kelly, 4 receptions, 41 yards so far.
On 1st and 10. It is a run. Met up quickly there. I believe that was Schefflaut who made the initial pressure and contact on the running back, and I believe that was Darden on the carry.
Yeah, Darden really couldn't go anywhere there. They're trying to stick with him. It's just not really working. He's had a couple big gains, but nothing's really working for this St. Norbert offense with Darden. I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to the pass. That's what's been working for them so far.
Rolling out to his right. Meneguzzo with pressure on to throw it, and it's intercepted! What a play! Pointer's first turnover of the game. Oh my goodness.
That was Charlie Anderson jumping up and getting the interception along the right sideline. Meneguzzo finally makes a mistake, rolls out of the pocket. He had pressure from the outside linebacker, had to do something, and he makes a mistake by throwing the interception to Charlie Anderson. And the Pointers, can they capitalize off the turnover? I guess we will wait and see, but a nice job there by this Pointers defense after a very good drive so far by St. Norbert.
4 interceptions so far in these first 2 games, all by 4 different players. Paul Morris, Jack Ludke, Carter Dahlke, Xander Pop, and now Anderson. Quick toss to the near side. It is caught
by Ben Wallersheim. Once again, he had that big touchdown in that first quarter. He had that 46-yard touchdown grab. He's now up to 3 receptions for 52 yards on a 5-yard, I want to say a 6-yard out route there.
They call it a gain of 7, so it's 2nd and 3.
And that's the first time we've seen the quick out route to a wide receiver today from Charlie Smith.
We've talked about it before, the lack of those, and it's another quick out caught for the first down, and that was Wallersheim on the reception.
So back-to-back catches there for Wallersheim.
Absolutely.
Making the grabs, and what we just said, literally the first time of the day Charlie Smith hits the out route, they're like, why not do it again? Works perfectly, picks up the first down. The Pointers are moving this football pretty consistently.
And a fast-tempo offense will be temporarily halted.
Timeout. Pretty good player of the offense.
And I believe that it was the center, number 73, Armendariz. He was bleeding.
So officials really making sure, checking for equipment, helmets popping off, any bleeding, trying to ensure that the players are all right. Quick substitution now for Armendariz, the center. There's a play action, quick toss again to the near side. That's Wieczek. So it's back-to-back to Wallersheim and now to Wieczek. They're back-to-back out routes.
It feels like I'm playing Madden on rookie difficulty, just hitting that 5-yard out route. Why not? It's working. And 3 plays in a row now, they've picked up 5 yards on a 5-yard out route.
They were targeting the corner, Sean Giles, and he's taken out and replaced. I believe that is Zeke Long, who on our stat sheet is marked as a wide receiver who's playing corner, kind of like a Bo Melton type action. Charlie Smith. Low snap, has to fall on it, and that's the backup center. We mentioned Armendariz had to come out with bleeding, so the backup center for Point, Stockjet, had just a low snap, and there you go. He has to come back on the sideline. Armendariz wanted to get that bleeding fixed up right away to come back on and help his offense. So it's a quick snap. He already got the play call in on 3rd and 11. Charlie Smith is in the shotgun with a back line up to his left. It is Cashin. And
a little bit of a spread offense here. They got 2 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left.
Here comes the blitz. Smith rolling out to his right, being chased. Fires on the run. It is caught for the first down at midfield. What a play.
Yeah, you had John Seitz for St. Norbert from the right side, outside linebacker, pressuring Charlie Smith. He had to roll out, make a quick play, and he does, finding the wide open wide receiver for the first down after the low snap on the previous play. So a great job there from Charlie Smith, and it shows what he has done the last 2 weeks. He's staying calm and collective. I know I've mentioned it quite a bit, but he's doing a great job so far.
No need to worry about that. You got to mention it multiple times because it's true. Here's a play action. Smith wanting to go deep. He will. And he wasn't even looking for it. Intended for number 13, that's Andrew Miller, the junior out of Plymouth, Wisconsin.
And initially coming into the season, we thought Andrew Miller was going to have a way bigger role. He's kind of dimmed down that, where he was supposed to be on that depth chart.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of down more. And I think it was just a miscommunication between Smith and Miller there. I think Miller was supposed to go a little bit more towards the right. Instead, he broke it up the seam. So now a 2nd and long here for the Pointers. 2 wide receivers to the left.
About 8 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Play action, quick toss, wide receiver screen to the near side is wrapped up and will be down just 1 yard shy of the marker. And on the play, that was Cole Schweffel. But they mark him 2 yards back, so it's 3rd and 2. They're hurrying it up. Smith in the shotgun with the back line up to his right. Quick snap, rolling out to his right with pursuit, and that is a sack. He slipped.
And the sack's going to be given to number 56, Carter Roeder. Even though he never really touched Smith, he was the closest guy there, so he will be getting the sack on the sheet for that one. And not a great play there. Smith, once again, pressure in his face. He had to do something that time. He couldn't get the ball out, and he just falls. And now it's a 4th down for the Pointers.
I think if you ask me, that whole drive, even though they got a 1st down after it, Armendariz, the temporary sideline, kind of halted it. They mark it fair, and it will roll into the end zone. So the Pointers will head onto the field after the touchback is called. And, St. Norbert will head onto the field. Pointers back on defense.
Yeah, a little under 7 minutes now left to go. I want to see the Pointers defense try and force a 3, and now it's still 28-17, the same score going into halftime. So I really want to see the Pointers put some pressure on this St. Norbert offense. When you thought everything was going correct, they turn over the ball, an interception to Charlie Anderson. So Menengozo really needs to get back to what he knows, and that's find the wide open wide receiver.
We got a different game. Last year through 3 quarters, only 6 combined points were scored. Very different here in this matchup. It's a play action, a quick toss, trying to find some room, but will only get about 3 yards after the catch. That's Turenne, the wideout. Turenne.
Yeah, Bailey Turenne kind of had a little bit of a quick out. It would kind of cross the line of scrimmage there. What you're trying to do on that play is you're trying to get your offensive linemen and your wide receivers out there to make big blocks, so then Turenne can kind of grab that and go up the field and make some plays. It didn't work there, only a gain of 2. So we'll see if they ever go back to that play, but it's a play that can work. It just wasn't worked effectively there.
Only 2 yards on the gain. It's 2nd and 8. And it goes. There was a handoff. Here goes Darden. Breaking free for the 1st down and knocked out around the 35-yard line. And something I was going to note was the fact that after each offensive play, St. Norbert was kind of taking their time. We've seen that throughout this whole game. But I would have a feeling there would be a sense of urgency. Even though the drive didn't wound up in really much, they still drew off at least 3 minutes. So St. Norbert is having to play catch-up down 2 possessions. They almost got a man to jump. There won't be a flag. It is a toss to the near side to Darden, but he's brought down at the 30 for a big tackle for loss.
Yeah, Joe Barron's there once again, and they ran this play in the first half. It's a swing pass to Darden along the right side, where once again you're relying on your wide receivers to make the block so Darden can go right between them and make a big play. It just hasn't worked. Back-to-back plays now. They try to go with a short pass and rely on your blockers.
Clock running on 2nd and 12 now. Over 5 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. And it is an end around. Trying to find something, but no. We'll get about a yard there, but not enough. It is 3rd and long.
Yeah, they tried to go with the jet sweep to Evan Chop. First time we talked about him today.
Yeah.
And 3 plays in a row now, they've tried to go with a short play and rely on your blockers. I don't really understand what they're trying to call here. Are they trying to catch the Pointers off guard? Obviously, it's not working, so a great job to this Pointers defense for getting in the backfield and making the play, and now 3rd and long for St. Norbert.
They're bringing their #1 slot guy, Kelly. He's had a big game so far. Meneguzzo's pressure, steps up, breaks 1 tackle, but will not get there. Nice pursuit from Joe Behrens.
Yeah, great job there by Meneguzzo, realizing that he had nobody open. He had to make the play similar to what Charlie Smith did in that first half. You really don't have anybody open. So your last initial thought is, I got to run this one. Only gets a gain of 4 before Joe Behrens says, I'm right here, dude, and tackles him at the 36-yard line.
Something I'd like to mention, I just thought of it because the cloud just came in, but it has been a hot one, a scorcher, and obviously we can't tell because we're in the box, but it's about 80 degrees and has been pure sun, not enough wind gusts to really feel any cooler, so it's been a hot one. So haven't seen anybody puking or anything like that. Definitely affects the players and their stamina.
And you're correct. I know growing up, a lot of football games I played in my lifetime. I'm just kidding, only high school sport, only up to high school. But no, yeah, you see it all the time during practices, during games. A lot of players end up getting sick because of how hot, and the pads just make it even hotter. So great job here by the coaching staff and the training team to get the water that the players need.
Absolutely. So it's 1st and 10 here for the Pointers, and they're starting from their own 24-yard line. You got a motion man here. It's Cashin. But it is an inside run and will not get much.
Yeah, that was Reed Smith with the carry, kind of a handoff coming from the left side to the right side where Charlie Smith has the chance to pull that one away and decide to run it himself. Decides to go with Reed Smith, and Smith just didn't have the right hole there, and it's a loss of 1 there for the Pointers, so not a great start to this possession.
We already mentioned it, but heading into this season, Reed Smith was expected to be the RB2, but it's been kind of worked into an RB3 role, and he's been taken up by Zach Lynch, and we'll see if he's utilized much on this offensive drive. Here's Bryson Cashin plowing into defenders, but ultimately wrapped up by the Green Knights.
Yeah, Cashin has plowed over, I want to say, at least 90% of this roster of St. Norbert. Whether it's a kick return or a rushing attempt, he's been just putting that shoulder down and trying to make a play for this Pointers offense. There, picks up 3, and now it's going to be a 3rd, and I want to say 8 or 9 here for the Pointers. It's going to be a spread offense, 4 wide receivers to the left, to the right. I'm thinking you got to go with something down the middle here and make a play, maybe to Phillips. Not sure, though.
We'll see what they do on 3rd down. Smith with pressure, climbing. He's going to get there. Up the seam. He's got speed. Brought down into St. Norbert territory.
And Charlie Smith is doing it all. It was a quarterback draw play, and just when you thought that St. Norbert had the chance to make him another 3 and out, Charlie Smith goes right up the seam, takes a big hit. It didn't matter. He does a little celebration of a 1st down, and a nice job there for this Pointers offense to get into St. Norbert territory.
Do you think you watched Jordan Love hit stick compilation, or at least the highlight from this past
the one
game?
play.
The one play, that's all you need. For me, it's compilation. I watch it a lot. And here's Cashin. Works his way back to the line of scrimmage, so no gain there, and it'll be 2nd down.
Yeah, you never know, Jacob. A lot of these players look up to a lot of NFL players. For me, it was always Aaron Rodgers. I know this day and age, obviously, it is Jordan Love.
So you played quarterback in high school. Did you work on your fake on the play action? You fake the handoff, give a little handout?
My Green 19 is pretty good. I'm not going to say it here. It's like it gets a little loud, but that was one thing I always worked on was my cadence of Aaron Rodgers.
Smith is now under center on 2nd down. It is a toss. He shakes out of 1 tackle, but only gets a yard. So these first 2 plays on the new set of sticks have only resulted in 1 total yard.
Yeah, that was Andrew Miller who got the toss to the right side. Blocks didn't really get out there in time, so Miller had to make something out of nothing, and he couldn't do that. So now a 3rd and 9 here for the Pointers.
3rd and 9 as they break the huddle. 2 wide receivers lined out wide to the left side. Smith in the shotgun with the back lined up to his left. Takes the snap. Smith with pressure, climbs again, he's gonna run. He made a defender slip. Whoa! Brings the truck! Charlie Smith!
Jacob, I think you're right. I think you just watched that Jordan Love truck over and over again. He has done it 2 times now here on this possession, and he made a defender slip too. He was like, oh my gosh, I gotta get there in time. He doesn't do it. Charlie Smith gets around the outside, picks up the first down once again for the Pointers, as this will make an end to the third quarter. And what a drive here for the Pointers heading into the fourth. 28-7 lead. Excuse me, 28-17 lead.
Oh my goodness. If you are a Pointer teammate to Charlie Smith, you gotta just say, that's my QB. He absolutely had the choice to try to make a move, but he brought all of his force with his shoulder. Before you give us some WIAC updates, I gotta remind everybody what today is all about. The Pink Game for Charity, for anyone who doesn't know, every year at Gerke Field in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, Team Sherrill Companies joins forces with the University of Wisconsin Stevens Point Pointers football team for a charity game to raise money for organizations that support families affected by cancer. Participants can bid on one-of-a-kind game-worn jerseys at this game in a silent auction. They got to purchase Pink Game for Charity apparel and cheer on the Pointers. They've raised over $632,000 since they started all the way back in 2010, with all proceeds supporting local cancer-related charities and UWSP student-run cancer fundraising efforts.
Yeah, looking at the WIAC scores, River Falls currently up 38-28 against Coy, and looking over to North Central versus UW Oshkosh. North Central running away with that one, 38-7.
First play of quarter number 4. 1st and 10. Smith fakes the pitch, going deep, and it is almost a diving interception. Great effort from St. Norbert, and Charlie Smith is lucky that one wasn't picked.
Yeah, that was a completely underthrown ball to Braden Weechick. He had him in the end zone. Maybe if he overthrew that a little bit more, but Weechick just was too far for Charlie Smith there on that one. And like you said, Jacob, almost an interception there. And it was kind of a fake handoff, play action type play. And now Smith's going to go under center into that wing T formation with Reed Smith as the back.
And his handoff, they didn't see it coming. Look at this. Reed Smith lowers the shoulder down inside the 20.
And that worked out so perfectly. They faked all the handoffs to go to the left side, but it was Reed Smith all along, right up the middle. Realized there's no hole there, so he bounces it outside and makes his first big play of the day.
Yeah, his biggest run of the game by far for Reed Smith. And you could say this UWSP backfield is now a 3-headed monster. They could go to Zach Lynch, they could go to the leading rusher, Bryson Cashin, or they could go to Reed Smith. That was a beautifully well-drawn play. But now on 1st and 10, it is to Reed Smith again, finding room, and brought down. Is he in? No. Down at the 1. Reed Smith coming big time on this drive.
Reed Smith gets the carry right up the gut, and he is about an inch short. And wouldn't this be fitting if he gets the play 3 times in a row? It is going to be Cashin and Reed Smith in the backfield.
They got 2 options here on 1st and goal. From the 1, Smith under center. They motion Cashin. It's a give to Reed Smith for the touchdown.
(34-17), Jacob. They double the score, St. Norbert, and it was all Reed Smith on that drive. 3 plays in a row, finally gets into the end zone with his first rushing touchdown of the year. What a great job there by Smith in this offense, and it came a lot from Charlie Smith. 2 rushing first downs, trucking the shoulder a few times, so a great job there by this Pointers offense to put some more points up on the board.
Extra point attempt is up and good. Consistency is key, and they've had it here in the kicking game. It is 35-17. Pretty early here in the fourth quarter. And if you're the Green Knights, down by several key possessions, they got a lot to dig out, but I'm sure they're coordinating some sort of attack on their sideline.
And we got to talk about this rushing game. Let's look at it first. Leading in yards is Charlie Smith. 6 attempts, 57 yards. Reed Smith, 7 attempts, 38 yards. Bryson Cashin, 12 attempts, 30 yards, and a touchdown. Smith also had a touchdown, obviously. Zach Lynch, 4 attempts, 10 yards, and then Miller, 1 attempt for 2 yards. So a lot of guys are contributing to this rushing attack, and it's working perfectly. So shout out to the running game and the offensive linemen. We don't talk about them enough, but they are making these plays happen.
Something I was going to mention, last year, not that the run blocking was bad, but they've done a lot of different type of concepts. Outside runs, fakes, they've pulled, they've drawn inside the inside, and I've got to say, if I'm a Pointers offensive lineman, I'm proud of this front five they've had so far. They've done a really nice job. All have played key roles, but the kick is away as Norbert prepares to have the ball. It'll be taken out from the 6 and runs into a wall and thrown down inside the 20. That is around where the Green Knights will start their next offensive drive.
Yeah, if I'm looking at this offense for St. Norbert, obviously you're down by 18 points now. So what you need to do is you got to build an offense together. You got to get the passing game a little bit more going. I know Menenguzo, I apologize. He threw an interception 2 drives ago, 3 and out on the previous drive. They really need to get going here in the second half, which they have done nothing.
First play of the series for the Green Knights. It is an inside run. And only gets maybe a yard or so on the carry.
Yeah, the handoff to Will Darden once again. And just the running game hasn't been working at all for St. Norbert. And a lot of it has been because of this defensive front for the Pointers and the linebackers getting there. A lot of people are contributing to the running attack of St. Norbert. So going forward with this, they got to do something new here.
They show exterior pressure and they bring it. Xander Pop coming in with a DB blitz. Menenguzo trying to find something, throws it to the outside, and he finds a man for the first down grab.
It was Bailey Tureen on the outside, and a nice job there by Menenguzo rolling out of the pocket, decide not to run with it. Finds the open wide receiver.
I like the call. You bring up Xander Pop. I mean, you could see defensively, Luc Vinay has gotten this defense to show a lot of different concepts. They've done it out of the nickel, bringing pressure from the outside, from the inside. Here on the high snap, it is a run. Gets to the first level, but spun down around the 43-yard line.
Yeah, Darden again with the carry up the middle. This time a gain of 5. And you can see St. Norbert's kind of doing the same offensive presence of what they've been doing the last few possessions. So
this clock is really running down.
Exactly.
And, St. Norbert, obviously, they waited to call the timeout to end the first half, kind of botched that final drive. They were trying to get some points out of it, and they're really letting this clock run. I'd imagine a fast tempo offense would be best here. It is a run. That was to Darden once more, but not getting enough. It's third down, and if you're St. Norbert, I'd imagine what I would do is hurry it up here, maybe call a quick wide receiver screen to the near side of the field. I'm not really sure, though.
Yeah, they've really tried a lot of things. They've gone with a lot of short routes here to try and work on their blocks a little bit more, but you can hear the fans getting loud here on third down. The dog pound is barking.
And they show a blitz, Brett.
They're going to back off, Jacob.
Good call, they backed off. Menenguzo with pressure, though. Stepping up, fires it anyway, and it falls incomplete. Menenguzo had a chance to maybe run it, but he took the shot, and it's fourth down, and they're punting this away, and honestly, that might have been the game right there.
Yeah, I think Menenguzo, by the time he stepped up to the line of scrimmage where he had to throw or run it, he decided to throw it. At that point, you already have pointers coming up to make the attempt and tackle Menenguzo, and that just resulted in too many pointers being around the initial wide receiver he's trying to look for. Excuse me, the intended wide receiver.
Bit of a high snap there, but the punt is away. Called a fair catch around the 12-yard line. And here comes Charlie Smith and the Pointers offense trying to throw the dagger into the heart of the Green Knights.
Yeah, Charlie Smith has been outstanding today. He is pretty much hit on all of his passes. He only got 6 incompletions, 11 of 17, 145 yards, 2 touchdowns, including the 46-yard touchdown pass to Ben Wallersheim. So if you're the Pointers here, you're up by 18. You have Zach Lynch in the backfield. I think you just got to run it a little bit, bring that clock down, and move your way towards a 2-0 start to the season.
And they start it on the ground. Doesn't get much out of it, but the clock runs. I think the point here is just to keep it simple. Keep it on the ground. There's no point to risk a turnover. There's no point to risk stopping the clock. You just want to drive the dagger. You just want to put the nail in the coffin, put this team away, and head. This would be their first 2-0 start in 4 years since 2021. And having an undefeated record, especially at home, that would be great considering they have to travel all the way to Oregon next week for week 3. Another run. Not much at all. A swarm of Green Knights throw Zach Lynch down after a short gain, and it's 3rd down.
So I think with a couple substitutions coming in, I think if they're going to go with a pass here, you bring out a tight end, you bring in an extra wide receiver. I think with it being 3rd and 5, you're okay giving up that pass and maybe having an incomplete pass and stopping the clock. But then yet again, I don't know, it could be very beneficial if you do run it and take another 40 seconds off the clock. I guess we will see.
St. Norbert rushes 4. Smith going deep, and he overthrew his man. We check the intended receiver might have wanted a penalty, but they won't get it. I am a little shocked. They didn't try to do a short little screen. They only needed 6 yards, but Smith tried going for the deep ball to drive the dagger home, but winds up unsuccessful. The clock will stop with 9 minutes and 14 seconds to go. And Pointers have to punt it deep from their own territory.
And it looks like there Charlie Smith knew where he was going on that play.
Yes.
It was right away. He got the ball, spin the ball around to find the laces, and he just threw it to Wieczek for the seam route.
Punt is away. St. Norbert brought some pressure there. And oh, he muffed it! Went off the face mask! And it's recovered by the Pointers, it seemed. There's a Green Knight down on the turf, seemingly hurt at the 40. No signal yet. There is a Green Knight down and hurt. I believe that's number 34, Zach Poitzel.
And I think Petzel's the one who muffed the punt. It went
He is.
right off the
face
helmet.
mask.
I've never seen that before, Jacob. Usually it's the hands or the body bouncing off the chest plate. That time takes a big bounce off the helmet. It'll be Pointers football once again in St. Norbert territory. And at this point, St. Norbert just cannot catch a break.
Yeah, that was definitely the dagger for sure. 2 muffed punts in this game absolutely killed them. Obviously, that first muffed punt, it's when they had the 7-0 lead, and it allowed the Pointers to tie it up right away. And you could feel the momentum, I feel like, switch there. But this is a crucial point of the game for St. Norbert. They had 9 minutes left to try to get something going. Obviously, you know, the attempt to try to tie this ball game, it would have been extremely difficult, but they still had a chance. But now with the Pointers recovering the ball in St. Norbert territory, that, I mean, it's hard to see how this could wind up in the Green Knights' favor. But if you're the Pointers, they've done their job. They've taken advantage of opportunities, and it looked like Petzel is up on his feet, slowly helped off by the training staff, having a little bit of a limp, but glad to see he looks all right for now. But yes, the ruling is that the Pointers recovered the muffed punt, And we'll start from the St. Norbert 43.
And they're going to start in that bunch formation once again, the wing tee. And there, I believe, is a new running back in the backfield for the Pointers. I'm not too sure, but it does look like it is Lucas Mills in the backfield for the Pointers, the junior out of South Wayne, Wisconsin. So getting some new bodies in there for the Pointers. It's always good to get some new bodies in there. Shows what we have for depth.
And it is a give to him. Oh, he sheds a tackle. The junior making moves. Nice start there for the drive. Looked like he was going to get stuffed and lose yards. But something I'd like to point out, I mean, you see the Pointers working in a fourth back. And I imagine, well, actually, no. Cashin's out on the field. But I was going to say, I don't imagine they would utilize much of the rushing talents of Bryson Cashin or Zach Lynch because you want to save them. I mean, they got a game in Oregon. They got a week off. And then WIAC play. That's where the real season starts. And, you know, if they start 2-0, that's great for the record. And they've got a tough conference in the WIAC. It is a back-to-back handoffs to the junior. Gets scooped off by one of the St. Norbert defenders. That was John Seitz, the linebacker, the junior out of Stafford, Wisconsin.
So now at this point, you're a little bit out of field goal territory. I'm thinking you got to go with the pass here.
I would try the screen. I mean, it's 7 yards, so not saying you'll get much. But already they've taken an entire minute off the clock and more since they recovered the muff punt. And you're taking an entire 60 seconds plus from St. Norbert of opportunities. So either way, it's already been successful even if they don't convert here. And now there's a stoppage in play.
Timeout. Stevens Point. First of the half.
So the Pointers decide to utilize their first timeout here in the second half. I don't know if they didn't like what they saw schematically. But, Brett, do you want to give us a quick look on what's going on here around the rest of the WIAC with all of their football games?
Yeah, for sure. Going into the fourth quarter, River Falls currently leading it against Coy 45-35. River Falls trying to improve to 2-0. And once again, North Central really taking it to UW Oshkosh. It is now 45-7. And if you missed the previous scores, UW Eau Claire up won 35-6 against Kenyon, and UW La Crosse won against Carnegie Mellon 38-14. So the Pointers got a little bit of competition here in the WIAC, especially against Eau Claire and La Crosse.
The only loss so far is from the UW Oshkosh Titans. Might be a surprise to some for sure. On third down, it's a quick out route, and there's Wiechek. He will be getting the first down. Big conversion. Takes us under 7.5 minutes to go left in this ball game. Yeah, and now the Pointers can just keep it in the ground.
Exactly, and that's the fourth time they've gone to that 5-yard out route, and it's worked every single time. Braden Wiechek creating separation, getting open, and now the Pointers, like you said, Jacob, can give it to Cash, and they can give it to Lynch, they can give it to Reed Smith, maybe a little bit of Lucas Mills in there, and you can be on your way to the victory.
Running this out of the pistol formation, it's a give to Bryson Cashin, breaking free, and brought down at the 21. One man to beat for what could have been another home run ball for Bryson Cashin. But that's okay. You want to ensure his health. Although it does seem he is staying on the field for this next play. A good run and a new set of 6 for the Pointers.
Yeah, Bryson Cashin, at this point, Jacob, I wouldn't have been surprised if he ended up breaking another tackle and taking it to the house. But he does get brought down at the 21-yard line.
Here's a pitch to Cashin to the near side and won't get a ton out of it. The Green Knights swarmed to the ball. They saw it coming, although I did like the blocker set they had out wide. They just had too many yellow hats compared to the Pointer white hats. It was a mismatch. So nice play made by the Green Knights defense.
And Cashin has now 14 rushing attempts for 41 yards, along with that touchdown. He's been playing great today. Along with that, obviously, he had that kick return touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
And along with that, 180 returning yards.
Out of the pistol, give to Zach Lynch. Fighting ahead. Decent gain, but still not to the marker.
Lynch on the carry.
Yeah, Zach Lynch, a little bit of miscommunication between Charlie Smith and Lynch. I think Smith went to the wrong side, but he ended up getting the handoff away anyways, and there's a pickup about 4. So it's going to be 3rd and 1 now for the Pointers. They have 3 wide receivers out there. I'm still going with the run game here. I think it's another handoff to Zach Lynch unless a wide receiver comes in motion with under 5:30 now.
It is a gift to Zach Lynch, breaking free for a quick moment. He found the gap and gets the first down. That'll take us to under 5 minutes left in the game. And, you know, this is the perfect showing to show to your home crowd in this pink game. Good job with the Pointers. It looks like you see someone limping off for Stevens Point. That's Andrew Miller, the wideout that we expected to see a little bit more out of, had that big play earlier.
Yeah, and subbing in is the senior Brett Frange.
It's a toss to the new back, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Stevens Point. Lucas Mills.
Yeah, we were talking about him earlier. He came in for the first time today, got a couple runs there earlier in the drive. This time gets the handoff from about the 8-yard line and takes it all the way to the end zone for the touchdown. And the Pointers are entering blowout territory, 41-17 now, Jacob.
Wow, Brett. I mean, I can't remember the last time the Pointers have scored 40-plus points in a ball game. About to try to make it 42 with the extra point attempt incoming. Kick is up. Nailed once more. No good. He missed the kick, and this remains a 41-17 game.
I thought that went in, Jacob, but I guess not.
That looked like it went in to me, but all right. I'm not the official, so their rule stands.
And going into this, I think with it being 4:30 left on the clock, if I'm Menenguzo, at this point, you know you're not going to be able to win this game, but you got to get momentum going into next week. You look at next week's schedule, and the Green Knights go and play Concordia Chicago away, so back-to-back away games for the Green Knights, and then after that, they go and play Concordia, Wisconsin.
Couple of Concordias, and yeah, we kind of talked about it already, but the Pointers have a big game coming up next weekend on September 20th. 8 p.m. Central Time, heading all the way to the state of Oregon on the West Coast at Pacific University.
And they are driving.
Yes,
too. They're
not flying. It's a bus ride. So,
and I'm thinking here too, if St. Norbert doesn't end up scoring, we're going to see a little bit of the backup quarterback Carson Glosny. You can see him warming up on the sideline.
Yeah, curious to see what we can get out of him. As the kick is away, nice long kick. It'll be taken in from about the 6-yard line and gets a little past the 20, but not much more there. As here comes Michael Meneguzzo. Wants to inspire a little extra confidence into the St. Norbert team that's already 0-1. Had a blowout home loss, 55-21 last weekend at their home opener at St. Norbert College. And obviously probably not going to walk out here with the victory today, but still want to show something offensively because I believe Meneguzzo is pretty solid.
Yeah, he had a pretty good game here, Jacob.
He's in the shotgun with the back line up to his right. It is a play action, and he'll just swing it out to the outside. It's Darden who is laid down. What a hit.
Oh, my goodness, Jacob. That's Gavin Adams coming from the linebacker spot. And another swing pass to Darden. And Darden, like we've mentioned before, nothing has really happened with him when he gets the ball today. And Gavin Adams read that perfectly and laying the big hit.
Clock running now under 4 minutes. 2nd and 9. Inside run, laying the hammer. Several Pointers defenders. And you could see there was a little bit hype after the tackle made.
Yeah, nice job there by the linebackers once again getting back there, making the play. I'm not sure who number 40 is out there.
It was a name change or a number change for this pink game. Lance Schultz on the tackle. Nice play made there by the senior out of Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin.
Now it's 3rd and long here for St. Norbert.
Meneguzzo stepping up, fires. It is incomplete. Ball was too low. It is 4th down, and I'd imagine they'd at least try to go for it here, but no. Meneguzzo and the rest of his offense heading to the sideline. Here comes the punt team. And yeah, it looks like we're going to get a little look at the Pointers backup, Carson Glosny. He's 6'3", 205 pounds. He's the sophomore out of Swamico, Wisconsin.
And initially coming into the season, there were a little bit of reports that Carson Glosny was going to be the starting quarterback of this team. Yes, those reports are false, but I'm actually happy to see what he can do for this Pointers
Here
squad.
comes pressure. Oh, man. The punt was almost blocked, and it is a fair catch called from their own 37. I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off, but that was very close to being another error made by the St. Norbert special teams, but it winds up, they mark the ball. Fair caught now at the 36-yard line, so that is where the Pointers will start, and here comes the backup, the sophomore, Carter Glosny.
And also in there is Jeff Rowan for the first time today, the sophomore wide receiver.
And they're going to start this off in the pistol formation. It is an inside run. Getting about 3 yards there on the carry. It's Lucas Mills who just scored his first touchdown of the season on the previous drive.
Yeah, nice run up the middle there from Mills, gain of 3. And he's had a pretty good showing here as the RB4. And you, like I said before, you want to see how your depth is going to be, especially with a long season. This is the only second game, but injuries can happen. And showing that Mills can make those plays as well is really beneficial for the Pointers.
I imagine they're going to keep this on the ground because if they do, the clock will wind down to the 2-minute warning. And they do. It's back to Lucas Mills. Takes it around the 41-yard line, and it looks like they're going to let the play clock run all the way down to the 2-minute warning. So I would like to see, just why not? You're up 41-17. See what Glosny can do. Throw a deep ball down the field. I mean, obviously,
it's a sign of respect there, Jake.
Yes, I understand. You know, you're up by a lot. You respect your opponent. But I was saying, and more so, seeing what Glosny can do, what the arm talent looks like. But both teams head to the sideline for the 2-minute warning.
And I got to give a shout out to Charlie Smith. 12 of 19 today, 153 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's played great in these first 2 games as the starting quarterback of the Pointers. Coming into this one, he only had 108 yards and a touchdown, but no interceptions. He was 18 of 29 last week. So he's been playing very well so far in these first 2 games. And now, like you mentioned, they go to Pacific and play in Oregon. So we'll see if these 2 games can give them a little bit of momentum to go play so far away.
Yeah, we won't be back here until October 11th. Their first game of WIAC play, October 4th at Platteville. So we'll be back in a month to face the Whitewater Warhawks. That'll be a good matchup. Here's a high snap. Glosny's going to run it himself, and he got the first down.
And his helmet came off as well, so now he's got to come out. And in will come the 3rd-string quarterback for the Pointers, number 10.
Fernando Rodriguez.
No, Drew Vinny.
Oh, yes.
Drew Vinny.
There you go. Thank you. It's getting late here. I think the sun's starting to affect me. The beans.
We can feel
intercepting my skin. I'm wearing a black shirt, so, you know, it affects all the mentals. But
no, it's good to see another quarterback come in. We love to see backups here.
Yes. It is an inside run, trying to make some moves. Is Lucas Mills letting the clock run down to under a minute and a half to go.
And back in will come Carson Glosny. So great job there for Drew Vinny. Handing the ball off to Mills. Great job there. Maybe we'll see him in the future. He is a freshman.
Absolutely. Glosny coming into the huddle, getting the play call off. Under a minute and 10 to go and counting. Obviously, just going to try to run the clock out, wind down this game. But if you're the Pointers, 2-0 sound pretty nice. Give to Mills, breaking some tackles. He's still on his feet and finally brought down, gets past midfield into St. Norbert territory.
Doesn't only sound pretty nice, it looks pretty nice too,
yeah.
Jacob. 2-0 on the record. That puts him up a little bit more in the standings. Obviously, with the loss to Oshkosh, you already have a better record than them. I know it is only out-of-conference games. We haven't entered WIAC play. But you never know. This game could help the Pointers and what they hopes to be a pretty good season here.
This will take us to about 20 seconds left as the backup Carson Glosny lines up under center in victory formation. Takes the snap. There's the knee. The Pointers are 2-0 for the first time since 2021. 4 long years, but a nice undefeated record for Stevens Point. Back-to-back home games against the Albion Britons and the St. Norbert Green Knights. We mentioned it. Next week they're heading all the way to Oregon to face Pacific University. That's on September 20th at 8 p.m. Central Time. Of course, they're going to be in Pacific. Week off, and then on October 4th is when WIAC play begins. They'll be headed over to Platteville, who had a very good last season. They won the conference. So much to everyone's surprise, the Pioneers, that's who they'll be facing. And we'll be back here in about a month, October 11th, against UW Whitewater, the Warhawks. That will be a fun game to see for sure. You want to update us a little bit here, Brett?
Yeah, looking at some final stats for the Pointers in St. Norbert. Charlie Smith, 12 of 19, 153 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Leading in receiving was number 12, Ben Wallersheim, 4 receptions, 64 yards, including the 46-yard touchdown pass. Then rushing-wise, Bryson Cashin, 14 rushing attempts, 46 yards, and a touchdown. Along with that, Reed Smith had a touchdown, and Lucas Mills as well. Over on the defense, leading in tackles was number 3, Denver Trelevin, making the start today and playing pretty good. Of course, we had the interception from Charlie Anderson as well. Over on the St. Norbert side, offensively, Michael Menengozo, 19 of 26, 1 interception, 2 touchdown passes. Not a bad day from Michael. Receiving-wise, it was Connor Kelly, 4 receptions, 41 yards, and no touchdowns. Roberts had a touchdown, and Tureen had a touchdown as well. Rushing-wise, Darden, 17 attempts for 67 yards. And over on the defensive side, leading in tackles was number 8, John Seats. As we look at the final over in the WIAC, 52-41 currently River Falls. A big high-scoring game between River Falls and Coy. UW Oshkosh loses 45-14 against North Central. We'll be back here on 90 FM against UW River Falls for women's volleyball on September 19th, this upcoming Friday. And then after that, on Saturday, the 20th, they have the Pointers Invitational. We'll be there as well for 90 FM against Carroll University and Bethel University at 1 p.m. and 3 p.m.
I'd just like to make a quick correction. Learned here from the Assistant Athletic Director, Tim Bond, that the Pointers are actually flying next week to Pacific University. So, no, they will not be driving, so that's pretty nice. An awesome display here on the field as the check will be coming in to see how much money they raise for this year's Pink Game for charity. We thank you all for watching on the WIAC Network, brought to you by Pointer Studios, or if you were listening, audio was brought to you by UWSP 90 FM. Thank you to everyone who helped out here today. Got to thank Reagan Van Wagner, Liam Sheen. Thank you, Brett McNamara, for your time. As always, I was Jacob Spurl. Thank you all for watching. We'll be back here for football October 11th against the Whitewater Warhawks. here at Gerke Field.